Topping the news, tonight a local attorney is calling for stiffer penalties for those found guilty of child molestation in the Bahamas. Attorney Osmond Johnson is suggesting the enforcement of a minimum of 10 years in prison for anyone convicted in the courts of such a crime against a child. Here's that report. Local attorney Osmond Johnson says there has been an increase in child molestation cases in the country in the past few years, especially with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I think that we need to have a strict approach to issues like that. Unfortunately, in recent years, particularly during the pandemic, we've seen this emergence of, a wide range of offenses against the person that have taken place, particularly involving minors, molestation, instances of incest, and you see it is deleterious to our society as a whole to allow for these kinds of occasions to take place unchecked.
Last week, a 73-year-old man of Grand Bahama was found guilty of unlawful sexual intercourse with an 8-year-old girl. He was first charged in 2019, and while pleading his innocence, he argued that he would not wait until the age of 70 to fool with a little girl. He was still found guilty, and many believe that he had committed the crime several times before. Johnson is calling for swift prosecution for sex offenders, especially those convicted of having unlawful sexual intercourse with children.
There needs to be swift prosecution. We need to institute heavy penalties to individuals who engage in such conduct so that there can be an active deterrent to individuals who would seek to target and victimize our children.
Attorney Johnson suggests this prosecution advice.
I am putting out there as a proposal a 10-year mandatory penalty for any individual involved in such instances. I believe may have more of a deterrent than the current sentencing guidelines we have. Bearing in mind that a firearm in this jurisdiction carries a mandatory sentence these days of 12 months. So if you can get a 12-month penalty for a firearm, I think you should get a far higher penalty for molesting or abusing a child.
Attorney Johnson noted that it is also imperative for children to be educated when it comes to sexual assault so that they are able to protect themselves and also know who to speak to should they become a victim.